Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Guess who's back with another crafty venture? Today it's all about the Sparkle Blends. I'm hopping with a small group of my crafty friends, and this is the card that I made for you today. Actually, I made it for me. I am ready for some Halloween. I have been for months now, and I just couldn't resist. This fantastic stamp set is called Attempted Murder. It's from Whimsy Stamps, and I just can't even, y'all. It's too much. Did you know that a group of crows, and I'm sure there's a number, but a group of crows is called a murder? So 2 of them is attempted murder. I think that is hilarious. I love that play on words. Oh my gosh. So you saw I stamped it all out. I'm actually using some Bristol Smooth paper this time to do my ink marker coloring, my alcohol ink marker coloring. Get the words right, girl. Get the words right. So I just use my typical light to dark, dark to light, blend it out as many times as I need to get it looking the way I want. So I use some different depths of color. So I use some browns, some reds, some oranges, even to get this kind of rustic look on my pumpkins that I want. I don't want the typical bright pumpkin-y orange. I wanted that more deep rustic, kind of primitive look, if you're familiar with the primitive arts. So I'm loving what I'm doing there. And now it's time to do this fence. And the fence is so much fun. I just wanted it to have, again, that rustic, weather-worn look. I mean, it is kind of a Halloween, deep fall kind of card. So anyway, again, the light to dark, the dark to light, blending it out, blending, back and forth. I think I probably went over this 4 or 5 times, maybe more, to get it the way I wanted. And I'm about done. This is my last layer. I'm blending it all together and leaving that highlight in the middle. And then, of course, you know, I fussy cut. I have a lot of dies, to be honest, but most of my dies are standalone dies. I don't typically get the coordinating dies. I like the ones that I have, but I'd rather spend my money on new stamps, to be honest. And fussy cutting is so easy for me. It's not easy for everyone. It's easy for me. I enjoy it. It's cathartic. So cutting out the branches, cutting out the birds, cutting out the leaves and the pumpkins, just cutting it all out. Just spending some time being mindful, being present, enjoying the process. And now it's time to create my background. So A Colorful Life Designs has an entire series of scene building stencils that just came out for the August release. This is just one of them. It's a grass, obviously, and it has the mask and the stencil, and I'm using both. So I did the mask to create the layers of grass, and now I'm using the stencil to start building my night sky. So the sun is setting, the sky is pink and red and purple and blue and black, and hopefully this all portrays that scene that I'm trying to get to. Just simple ink blending with my Distress inks. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with Distress, to be honest. Distress oxides, yes. I've been building my Distress oxide collection and just completed it recently, and I'm happy with them. The Distress is a different animal, and I did not realize there would be such a difference. And especially on the Bristol Smooth, the ink it didn't ever really soak in until I heat set it. But then, you know, I don't hate it. I mean, it looks like a night sky. I'm happy with that. It's just different. The inks are different. So got all my ink blending, got my layering in there, got the splatter. I got some water and some picket fence, so I got some white splats in there, and then I got some shimmery splats in there with my, what is this called, liquid pixie dust from Ink on 3. So lots of layers with the splatters and the stars as well. Then, as you can see, I die cut a hole because that's where my moon is going to be, and that's what that little bit of yellow ink blending was, and layered up my acetate and my fun foam, and then I'm ready for my shaker bits. Now, because this is the Shaker Blends or the Sparkle Blends hop, I wanted to highlight these Sparkle Blends. This particular mix is called Rhiannon's Moonchild, and it is amazing. It's all black, silver, white, And there's so much detail on these shaker bits. You see the little moons, you see the little stars. There's big crescent moons, you see the big one. There's tiny little ones in there. And look at how those stars sparkle. You see the iridescence? Oh my gosh, they're just beautiful. There's sequins, there's confetti, there's all kinds of fun shapes in there, and I just love this one. For those of you who don't know who Ree is, she is Allison Haikila's daughter, and she's actually on the design team for Sparkle Blends. So yay you, Ree, and what a great mix. Not too long ago, Amber, the owner of Sparkle Blends, which is from Doodles Paper Playground, she had her design team all create their own blend, and this was Ree's. So I love it, and I had to use it today, and I feel like it makes the perfect little flighty things over my moon in that shaker hole. So back to the card making. I have fussy cut out that fence and did the tedious work of putting a little piece of double-sided foam tape on each picket. Yes, tedium, but it's done and I love it. And now all of those little pickets aren't going to get mushed, crushed when it gets given to the participant. And so now I'm stamping down the branches, as you can see, stamping down my murder of crows, my attempted murder anyway. I don't know. Do y'all know how many crows equals a murder? I'll have to do some research. If you know, drop it downstairs. It's interesting that it's called a murder. I need to do some research as to why. Anyway, any supplies that I don't mention in the video, I will try to have them listed downstairs. Again, I don't know that I'll have them linked, but I'll definitely have them listed. And so here I'm putting my fence in place just so I know where to place my birds, because I want the birds to look like they're sitting on the fence, these last couple. And it takes several stampings, if you will, of this ink, and I'm using my Brutus Monroe Raven black ink. I thought that was appropriate, and stamping it over and over and over to get that depth of color with that black. I wanted that deep rich black so that they actually look like shadows. So anyway, created my background, got the stamped images, glued on my branches, and then I have 2 extra crows that I'm going to glue on as well to give them some texture, some dimension, some extra layers, because you know I'm extra, I'm basic, I got to have all the extra layers. How am I basic and extra at the same time? My daughter's still going to have to explain that to me. Anyway, I digress. I really fussed and fidgeted with this branch. I didn't want it to go in the exact same place as the ones that I had stamped, but I had a hard time getting it to please my eye. So once I got it down, I pushed it down so that all that glue would be touching the paper, and then again fussed and fidgeted with my crows, got them in place and glued them down as well. There we go, just getting them put down. And I thought about putting some dimension behind them, but I really just wanted the fence to be what was lifted off so that it looked like everything else was back behind that fence, and that's where the scene was behind that fence, adding that perspective to the card. I think it's fun. I was very fussy on this one, very fussy. Now I'm adding my pumpkins, those deep kind of primitive looking pumpkins, and again it's a night scene, so they're not going to be that bright typical pop of orange that we know a pumpkin to be. And I forgot to say that I took my dark colored marker. I don't think that's a black, actually. I think it's a chocolate brown, might even be a sage green, but anyway, took it and I edged everything that I cut out just to make sure that there were no white harsh edges, and it looked like that I fussy cutted better than I did. Fussy cutted? Words are hard. Words are always hard once I turn the mic on, y'all. I don't know what that's about. anyway, cutting off those little edges that stuck past the side of the card, cleaning it up, making sure everything's in place, everything's where I want it, and then I add the sentiment, attempted murder. But I didn't want it to stand out. I wanted it to blend into that fence, and so I colored it up with some wood grain that I just added myself, and I think it's fun. Fun, fun, fun. What do you guys think? Attempted murder. Let me know your thoughts downstairs. The next person in the hop lineup is listed downstairs, top of the description box. So I hope that if you guys like this video and like all the other videos, give them a thumbs up. We appreciate that support. If you're not already subscribed to our channels, you know we'd appreciate it if you would. We'd love to see you come back. And this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Thanks for joining me on the Sparkle Blends Hop. And until next time, I'm out.